All right. So now the wait should be over. Now we should be live. Technology's hard. Sorry, fellas. See if they see us here in a minute now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now the wait should be over. Now we should be live. Technology's hard. Sorry, fellas. See if they. Oh, you can see it now. I can hear me from you.
Yeah,
Here in a minute now.
okay, I'm gonna take the YouTube off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, cool. I just had a weird feeling that something wasn't right.
Okay, so now they see in here. All right, good. Sorry, we suck at technology. We're new to the YouTube lot. This, yeah, we're not
Yeah,
very good at this. Full disclosure, pretty decent at trading, but not good at YouTube Live. All right. So anyway, what I was gonna say is, so mine and sellers set up both. We have the similar problem where like we want to share our Cobra broker screens, but I have an ultra wide in verticals, and it just doesn't translate well. And sellers has all verticals, so they just don't translate well. So we got some screenshots prepped and ready, and we're gonna make those work as best we can. We'll still be able to explain everything, but just full disclosure, there's screenshots, but just screenshots from our broker. So anyway,
yeah. It just looks. I mean, it. We
it just
tried
looks,
doing it on other videos, and it would just be like on my screen. It's like super distorted, just because of the. I guess just because of the.
yeah, it just doesn't look good. Um, so I have a few that I could. You want to do yours first? You want me to do mine first? I have G Sun, KBNT, RCRT, and VS as the ones I have screenshot ready.
Yeah, I've got MGAM, G Sun, KBNT, and EBET.
That's good because you have two that I don't have that I traded but don't have screenshots ready for. So that works perfect.
Cool. And I can, if I need to get more screenshots, I can while we're doing this. It doesn't matter. It won't take but a sec.
Yeah, you're all good. I'll go ahead and I'll start it off
Cool.
with, let's see here. I gotta open all these things. I'm gonna say VS for last.
Yeah, that was a good one.
God damn, it was. Whew.
I hate I missed that one. Man, I was watching it pre-market rip hundreds of percent, and I was just like, I was messaging you or in the chat. I was like, God, that is a ripper right there. I uh, I was looking and at first there weren't borrows, but then there were, and
Yeah, I had trouble with it too.
yeah, I was like when it first started ripping, I probably would have taken an L on it, which I'm not trading pre-market usually anymore,
No, me
but
neither.
I uh I was looking for the borrow and I didn't see it. I was checking, just kept hitting that thing.
All right, so this is G Sun. You see my mouse?
Yep.
Sweet. All right, so unfortunately with G Sun, I don't have a picture of the daily. But what I can tell you is this little area here was a nice level on the daily between 230 and 240. I put it in the chat, 230 to 240. So I kind of built a position right in there, and I did put a stop in just above 240. It hit my stop, which it looked to be a fake breakout. So I reattacked on the kind of chased down a little bit. Wasn't thrilled with this trade. This is probably my worst trade. This was my loser. This was a loser. After fees and locates, this was a loser. So I'll show the loser first. But reattacked on the way down, took a little cover here, and then I recycled here at VWAP, which was not wise. Regretted that decision. Kind of chopped around, ended up getting all out there again on that 240 break and was out. And that's when I started saying in chat, like, I think you and I were talking about G Sun, and I was like, if it pairs to 3 or close to 3, I would consider it
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't want to mess with it again. And fortunately, right in here, I freaking top ticked it, which it looks great. Still a loser, but a great entry right there. And then ended up covering down here on the 1 200 when it it kind of bounced around and held that 1-200. Which, do you have your G Sun chart?
Yeah, yeah. Let me go ahead and
Okay,
show mine.
yes, because you flipped where I covered. So this is my G Sun. It is a loss. I'm not mad about the way I traded. This recycle here at VWAP was pretty dumb. Other than that recycle, I'm happy with the way I traded it. Cut early, covered some bad recycle, all out there. I like the risk. I like the rehit, and I like the cover at the 1-200. So overall, traded it pretty well. It just didn't work. But this is also why I'm just not a big fan of like these all day grinders. And I said that in the chat about G Sun, and then it was like BGGX or BGXX or something. I just don't like the all day grinders, and this is why they're freaking headaches. And we're about to see why they're headaches, even though you flipped it long. So let me take mine off and let you show yours, because yeah, literally where I covered, you longed it, which is awesome.
I just messaged Cruz back on there, in the comments right here.
Oh,
But
I don't even have it pulled up.
yeah, so let's see here. I'll share mine. Um,
Still think it's awesome how you literally longed at the exact spot where I covered.
yeah, I know, man, and that's like when we were in the chat or whatever. I was like, you said that you took your covers there, and I was like, man, that's right at the 1 minute 200. Look at that thing.
And it held the 1-200. I know you don't have it on your chart there, but literally where he entered long is the 1-200, and it bounced around the 1-200 like numerous times, you can see. So that's like perfect.
Yeah, and this isn't even the chart that I trade off of. So like I usually I have this chart like on my far left monitor. I have three charts with two timing sales for each one of them with like different criteria for order size, and then I I've got a montage under that, and so this one this chart. I mean, I'll trade it, if I'm already in a position, but I've got two other charts under this that have one of them is just like this one with the VWAP, but it has a 1 minute 200, a 1 minute 100, and a 1 minute 50, I believe. And then I've got the RSI that's usually right here. But just for the sake of this, you can see.
Yeah.
So, like I said in the chat, I longed it here, risking a breakdown of that low right there, that tiny little wick that you can see right there.
So you literally you risked pennies. Like, as
That's
far
right.
as risk reward, like you can't ask for nothing better.
Yeah, and like I really wanted to short this, like when I was messaging you in the chat, like I was thinking it was going to para like around here. And so I was like, man, like I had the locates already, and I was like, I want to short this. But I saw it doing that, and the way it was grinding, like I wanted it to grind, and then everybody gets stopped out into a big para move, and me short into it. Like that was what I was thinking.
Right.
But it didn't happen, so I was like, well, whatever. And I don't mind going long, especially with small risk like that. I mean, if it's going to break down, then it's going to break down, and you got to get out. But I mean, you can't get bagged. But anyway, so I'm long here, and it goes up, taps the VWAP, and I don't know if you saw, but right there, that low was 221. It was like 1 cent over the low, and I think I set my stop at like 218. I mean, I'll risk a few pennies, whatever, just because you don't want it to completely, just barely tap it and wick you out, which it happens. It happened to me on MGAM. It like wicked me out on the long, or didn't wick me out, but it broke down a little too far, and I had a stop set. I wasn't even watching it.
But I don't have my charts ready for MGAM, and ebets like you do, but on both of those tickers, I can tell you, I set hard stops on them, and both hard stops were triggered by a fake breakout. So it literally hit my stop, saw it was a fake breakout, basically hit it again immediately, and ended up making the trade work. But both times, dude, like the fake breakouts today were insane, especially at open, but crazy action.
I know, man. It really has been some crazy action.
Today was nuts.
Yeah, dude. Like this was my best day so far this year. I mean, it ain't like huge days like the P and Ls you see on Twitter, but I don't care.
Dude, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. I mean, give me 1,000 a day.
That's what I'm saying.
You already know how I am with that. Give me 1,000 a day every day of the year.
Well, like right here, I'm selling about half, uh, because I mean, it's that little
Hit,
gap fill.
yeah, hit that level.
Um, I had a few limit orders set, and like I said, I already had the locates. So these two arrows right here, that's me all out. I think I had like a 299 was the last sell order for the long, and then I started shorting it there. I put a stop at 324 just because I didn't want to do it at 320. I just something about 320 sounded or felt like it's I'm kind of discretionary, so I had a feeling it might stop at 320, and it did, but didn't get stopped out, and so then I added the rest of it there, and when it held that little breakout level right there, that close to the end of the
It's a good
day,
cover. Yeah, that's a good
yeah,
cover.
I just went ahead and covered it all at like I think I covered it like 280 or 281, just covered the whole thing, and
That's a good one.
man, I was sitting there. You were in the chat talking, and I wasn't answering, and I'm sitting there watching the screen. I was like, man, I was like, I still got these locates. I was like, should I short this thing like right into close? And I was thinking this thing's gonna go to. I put in an order for like 355, and I just took it away. I was like, nah, I'm not going to.
Smart. This was a China ticker.
Yeah, I know, man.
And
I
these
remember when this
things, man, that they can go nuts real quick.
Yeah, I remember when this thing went really crazy one day. I don't remember what day it was, but
Yeah, same. Because I saw the ticker pop up, and I was like, I remember you, you old mother effer.
I know, man. They can just go.
Ain't easy. So that's G Sun.
Yep. I'll
Let
take that one down.
me. Yeah, that was a good one. I still.
Thanks, man.
I love the fact that like literally where I covered is where you long. I swear you bought my covers.
Yeah, and I was kind of thinking about it like that. I was like, I mean, it's just kind of funny how we'll be in tune on stuff like that.
It is, dude. All right, so I'll make this one pretty quick because this one's pretty simple. So this is just a 1 minute chart. I don't have it daily. So when I take trades, any trade, parabolic, grinders, day one gappers, it doesn't matter what the setup is. I'm looking at 4 time frames: the
Same
minute,
here.
the 15 minute, the hourly, the daily. Every single time, looking for levels on any one of those, looking for volume points, and I'll show kind of what I mean on one trade as far as volume levels. But RCRT, this went pair 30, really nice. But there was no solid level on the daily that was like letting me feel comfortable about trying to, because we talk about this, right? Sometimes we
Hmm.
try to predict resistance if there is a major resistance level on the daily. But if there's not, we don't try to predict the resistance. We try to let it set some resistance, give us a good risk level, and then enter.
Exactly. That's like I saw a post. I think it was Stan that made the post on Twitter a while back when he said like the best short sellers don't
Right.
anticipate resistance, and that's been
Yeah.
hard for me because like my style of short selling has changed so much in the past year. Like I
Again, that's
used to,
where like I feel like that's where we are discretionary, right? Because if we see a solid level, then yeah, we'll play into that. And on KBNT, That's exactly what we did, which I'll show next. But this one, in my opinion, there was no solid daily, hourly level to play into. So I let it kind of fail first, hence why it looks like I chased it down, which I mean, I hit it on that halt resume, and I was literally risking that $1.10 level breaking. If it had broke $1.10, I'd have been out. So I'm literally risking like 10 cents to make almost 30. So this was basically a 3-to-1 risk reward trade.
Yeah, that was a sick trade.
Yeah, and of course, like it went further down, but we'll show K. Well, actually, I don't know if my KNBT or KBNT, whatever it is, shows the reclaim. But there's a reason that I like to lock in because some of these things do reclaim and make new highs. So if I'm up 20, 30%, 25%, whatever, I'm locking.
Yeah,
And I'm usually locking all of it.
KBNT was like my biggest trade of the day. I hit it with a little bit more size than I was supposed to. And
Yeah, this
that's
one I didn't take a lot of size on because it didn't have a awesome level. I hit this one at that, like I said, I let it fail first. A dollar is always a big psychological level for a lot of people. So that was kind of my thought process with this. So we didn't predict, reacted, dollar levels huge. And I mean, it worked out 3-to-1 risk reward. If the trade didn't work and it broke through that $1.10 level, like great. I risked 10 cents to make 30. Even if you take 1,000 shares of that, you could risk $100 to make 300. Like in my mind, that's what I'm here for.
that's what I'm here for too.
Yep. And I caught the meat of the move. It started to kind of consolidate, right around my cover. So that's where I got out at, all out 20%. I mean, I think it was 25. I'm not gonna take that.
Hey, random question,
Yeah.
but so before I told you like I haven't been like a Twitter trader for long. I've been trading for a couple of years, but it's only been like this past year that I've really been posting on Twitter. I didn't know any of you guys, like before all this. Um, when do you think the edge of 1 minute 200 covers is gonna erode?
You know what? I don't know, but to be honest with you, I don't know that I care because I feel like there's a reason you caught along on GSUN at that 1-200.
It
So
is
let that edge erode, and then we'll just flip psychology.
exactly.
I don't use the 1-200 for cover points. I like to see how the price reacts around there, and if it reacts in a way where I feel like it's bouncing off it, hence GSUN, that's why I covered.
Exactly, man. I love longs off the. I mean, the 1-200 is like I used to love the RSI. The 1-200 is probably the sharpest tool in my toolbox. Like it's.
Oh yeah,
I
I
love
feel
it.
you. So this one, KBNT, this was the other pair we had. And as you can see, this one I tried to predict a little more than react, but that all-time high level right there at 160 was just too good to ignore.
Man, I remember when I first started trading, like I'd hear all these guru type people saying, "Oh, you never short into all time highs and stuff like that."
Whatever. I don't
I
know what the
love
general
shorting.
I don't know what the general consensus is, but you and I talked about it again in chat, right? Like 160 was the all-time high level. So I shorted basically against that level, literally risking a break and hold of all-time highs. I'd have been out. And then obviously it worked out. This was another nice like 20% trade. I took some partials here, and then I ended up getting all out on that second wash at that kind of that roughly that breakout level at 115, because here's where it kind of consolidated and broke out. So that's why I took my second cover there. And your chart might show, maybe not, but if not, this is a picture perfect chart of why I'll cover, right? At 15-20%. If I hit 3-to-1 or even especially 4-to-1, I'm usually taking that because this thing reclaimed and made new highs, and it ripped after hours to, I don't know what it's at now, but I think it ripped after hours to like 2.
Yeah,
So
I think it ripped to. Let me pull this thing up. Okay.
That's why I like.
He hit like 210.
Yeah, see, that's why I like locking in. Give me my 20% and I'll be done with it. I literally, after I covered my last piece on this, I took it off my screen. I'm not gonna fool with it again.
Man, and I felt like when it did that little V-shaped move to VWAP and then just got hammered, I was like, man, this is going sub $1. Like I felt like it was.
Yeah, and it
It never
easily
it
could.
never got the 1 minute 200
No.
all day.
So for me, that's part of the reason I like to lock in. If I'm hitting 3 to 1, I typically will lock that unless it's just showing overwhelming weakness, like VS today, which I'll show VS here in a minute. But and then also full disclosure, we're catching these pairs because of our scans with trade ideas. If
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have trade ideas scans, we wouldn't catch these pairs because they're fast. I mean, you can kind of see, especially this one was pretty quick, but that RCRT, as quick as it went up, it went back down. So you don't have a lot of time with these pairs, and we have scans that alert us to these early, get our eyes to them, give us some time to map out some levels and some areas of resistance. So those two pairs, and it's I can't remember the last time there was a day with two pairs that I hit that worked out like this. It's been forever for me that I've caught two pairs in a day that worked out like this is, bro.
I know, man. Today was killer. Made up for
That's
yesterday.
good.
I took one trade yesterday and it was a loss.
Yeah, I took yesterday off. We've been having some ice storm madness, and the kids have been out of school, and they were out of school today. They'll probably be out of school tomorrow. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna show this last trade, couple time frames of this
Oh
one,
wait,
and
hey,
I'll
did you
yo.
show? You just showed your KBNT, right?
I sure did.
Okay. Well, in just a minute, I want to show mine too, so everybody can see what it did after hours.
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna show. This is my last one. I'm gonna show. Then it's all you. So VS. Um, make sure that it is showing right. Yes. All right. So VS. This thing was stupid. I think it gapped like 300%.
It was more
Insane.
than 300. Yeah.
So I'll be honest. I hit this right here, right before open, when MSGM, I think that ticker was called, the head of the snake, whatever that one was, MSGM, I believe. It started to, you know, right before open, they had the offering, and it tanked what, like 30 points or something. I mean, it was insane. So I really thought at open, VS being up 300% at open was just going to fall off a cliff. So I hit it right here, right before open, kind of a sympathy esque play. Obviously, it didn't tank at open because MSGM, whatever the head of the snake was, at open had somewhat of a dead cat bounce. This one had a little bit of a bounce too, and I was risking that break of kind of this trend line down right here. That's kind of what I was risking. And fortunately, it didn't break because I would have been out. I almost got out anyway because it was being a halt fest. But when it halted and it started coming down below that open level, that's when I was way more comfortable, way more relaxed, felt really good about it. And then it started to creep up. And I was like, son of a bitch. Like, here we go. Another reclaim. But and I think you know this about me, on broken tickers like this was a broken ticker, opened, halted down numerous times, came close to the 1-200. I mean, this is a huge move down. It doesn't look like on this chart, but this was like a 50% move down. I mean, this thing
Yeah.
gapped up huge. So anyway, when it touched VWAP, on broken tickers, I love to short VWAP. I love VWAP, and I love to short these VWAP kisses. I would have taken it off if it would have held VWAP and broke through. But anyway, touched VWAP and it broke back down. And because in this area right in here, it touched the 1-200 like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 10 times. So I took some off. I am still holding 25%, I believe, of my original, might be 33. I have to look. So I have hotkeys for both, but I'm still holding a chunk. I'm swinging this because, and I told you, and I said in chat, if it closes below 2, I'm swinging. I got a little scared here because it came up to 2 when what was it? MGAM started to rip up.
Yeah.
and this one kind of moved up with it, and I'm like, damn, it's really going to close above 2 and force me to cut. I thought I was going to have to cover at the end of the day, but fortunately it failed, and then it's just slowly started failing after hours. So I'm swinging this, and you may know this about me, but sometimes, and I'm guilty of this, I'm going to stop doing this. Sometimes if I have a killer swing the next day, I trade super light because I don't want to eat into that.
Oh yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
gonna have to get away from that, especially if we're in the NAWS, you know.
Oh, that's right.
But dude, this is looking like it could be a ridiculous swing. So hopefully this thing gaps down. If it gaps down, I'll be all out before market even opens. I won't risk it. I mean, I'm already up like this is like a 50% gainer. This is huge. This is the best trade I've had all year as far as percent gain. There's not even a close second. I think my second closest might be 30, 35%. This might be at this point 50 or 60 with the way it's performing after hours.
It's gonna be like our swing on
Veru.
yeah, Veru. That one was sick, dude. That was like that made a lot of my profit last year.
Biggest trade for me in the last like 6 months plus. That was ridiculous. But this
I
is
know.
looking good. I'm gonna I'll wake up early for this one.
Oh yeah.
And one other thing I want to show with this, because I want to show kind of why I held this short and why I shorted here at VWAP. Because you know me, I love all things volume. Volume is my baby. I don't use a lot of indicators, but I use volume for everything. All my indicators are even based around volume. I use Thinkorswim for charting. Um, and every indicator I have on there is volume based, minus the EMA. So, can you see my mouse here?
Yeah.
All right. So this was something I think you and I did a breakdown on a trade that we did on maybe on Friday. Very similar action here. These little green bars are it's just volume by price. I'm sure everybody knows that. But this happened again on Friday. This happened on Friday, and I forget what ticker it was, but same type of thing where the biggest volume bar on this ticker is pretty much right here in this pre-market range right at open. So and this is a 15-minute chart, mind you. So
Hmm.
all this pre-market time, about an hour's worth, and then a good 30 minutes of open, tons of accumulation, mainly selling going on in that area. So I know I hit a little early and it spiked up into that area. Part of the reason I held it is because it was going into this accumulation area and it proved to be resistance multiple times throughout the open. So when it failed that, I felt like it was a really good chance that this stock was broken. Even if it would have got back up to those levels, it would have struggled to break through that because so much accumulation, so much selling took place there. The overwhelming majority of the volume on this thing up until about noon was right in that area. It wasn't even a close second. It looks close now because there was a ton of accumulation in here throughout this whole period. But in the morning, wasn't even close. So that's why I like volume. I use volume. I use multiple time frames. We've said this before, like we're confluence traders, right? Like we look for levels, we look for volume profiles, we're looking for indicators, we're looking for fundamentals, dilution, all these reasons why we can be right instead of wrong.
Exactly.
So this one had a lot of confluence. There wasn't a good area on the daily or anything like that for me at 320, 340. Nowhere in here there was a good nothing on the daily that popped out for me, but this volume profile said plenty. Tons of accumulation, tons of selling, formed a super nice resistance level, which because of that made me a little more confident, especially when it breaks down like that, to short at VWAP. And then of course it just faded all day long. I don't regret taking any off there because that was still like a really nice, like 30, 35%. Of course, like I said, I'm swinging it, but this was my trade of the day.
Dude,
This
and that was sick, man. And I really wanted to hit this one.
It was tough because if you didn't get locates early, it was tough. And then it had the halt fest after open, so it was tough. It had 30-cent halt bands, I believe, like really ridiculous. Um, but this, as of now, is going to be my best trade of the year unless it does something stupid overnight. But again, I'll wake up early for it. But that's been the best trade for me in a long time. But this momentum today was absolutely insane. And I'm glad that J Powell didn't kill it. He was like,
I
"We're trying
know,
to tame
man.
inflation," and the markets was like, "No, you're not," and it started tanking. And he's doing his Q&A, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm serious." And then the market was like, "Okay," and it ripped up. I love to see it. Then Meta had what 15% earnings gain or whatever. Crazy move.
Oh,
So
yeah,
hopefully,
I was watching that. I was like, man, that was ridiculous.
yeah,
I
man.
was watching it on the 1 minute chart. I remember when it was like it hit like 164, and I was like, oh damn. And then
Now it's in
next
the
thing you know,
180s.
yeah, I in like one candle, it was at like 170.
So hopefully we keep this momentum going, at least for a while. This is a much better start 2023 than it was 2022. But anyway, those are
Abs-
my trades that I have screenshots of. Do you, bro?
All right. Well,
Let's see this magic. Oh,
um,
show your which one was it first? KBNT, because you have the one where it shows that it ripped back up.
yeah. Let's see here. Share screen. All right.
Yeah, look at that. That's insane. Reclaim, then it ripped after hours to all time highs. Sketchy move. Is this a China ticker? Probably not, but it plays like it is.
Yeah, and it depended on like what kind of charting platform you were looking at. You couldn't tell whether that was all time highs or not. Um, I guess because of dilution. I didn't even look into it.
I didn't. I
Uh,
looked on DOS and the all time high was showing that 160 level.
yeah, I was looking on some different charting software, and it had it way higher than that. But
Mm,
I then I think that was like I don't know, just fluke. But anyway, so I started smashing this thing
yeah, you did.
at that level, and added in like more than full size, and I think I took off like 50% here.
Yeah, but that's to me, that's dude, like you locked in a solid gain right there.
Yeah, this was my biggest dollar gain today. Um, and then I took off a quarter here, and I was thinking at that time the 1 minute 200 was it was at like 90 98 cents, something like that, and I was like, that's where it's going. You know, it looked weak to me. It looked like just one of those just pop and drop huge moves, but and then it made that little V-shaped recovery up to VWAP. I almost hit it again there, but
I thought you might have. I was one. I think I even put in chat. I was like, "Did you hit that at VWAP?" But
man, I thought about it, but just like I already had too much size on it from the beginning, and I'd already made a good bit. I was like, I don't want to ruin this,
no, I don't blame you.
and it's just me being whatever. If I, I'm just now kind of like this week getting back into the groove of things from being sick and like
Pretty
just
sure you had RSV.
probably so, man. It felt like it went on forever, but whatever. But anyway, it kept making these higher lows, and I was like, oh man, I was like, I really wanted sub $1, but I just covered it all right there.
Yeah, I think on parabolics, we would both say the same. On really A plus parabolic moves, we're looking for that quick pop and then literally the quick drop immediately after. If it holds any sort of level, it's usually a red flag for us at any point to just go ahead and get out. Like A plus parabolic, straight up, straight down. No hesitations, no holding of any given levels, just literally round trip up to down. So
Exactly, man. And like, I've seen people post on Twitter and things like that. It'll be one like this. It's a parabolic at the beginning of the day, and then it it does something like that, holds a trend line, starts making higher lows, and then at the end of the day, tanks. But I'm not risking that. I mean, this thing might have tanked to 80 cents without me, but look, I cover here, and then that thing makes new highs in after hours,
Yeah, I
like,
think people. So we talk about this a lot too, and I would say this to anybody. I think people get really caught up in those perfect charts that are posted on Twitter and think that is reality every time. It's not. Like, it'll happen. You might catch stuff like that, but like the overwhelming majority of my trades are not top ticks and bottom covers. They're meat of the moves, and that's it. Like, I don't know, just such a huge distortion between reality and what actually goes on, I guess.
yeah, I mean, and I'm guilty of getting caught up in it myself, trying to catch every last cent of a move. But man, I don't care what anybody says. It's just not practical.
No, and that's why that's why I love range orders. I've said this before a lot of times too. Range orders are my favorite. You set your stop and you set your cover, and whichever one gets hit first, that's it. And that
Yep.
locks in your risk reward too. So if you're risking 1R and you're cover 3R, like, that's why I like range orders. And sometimes you can be discretionary with that too. If it holds a certain level before your target, you could cover a little early, whatever. But all in all, range orders keep you safe from being too greedy or from discipline issues, because both can be equally bad. Discipline issues are horrible if you don't stick to your stop. But I also think you not taking profits at your target levels can get you in trouble as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt,
So
man. When I saw that thing rip after hours, because I'm guilty of holding stuff into after hours every now and then. And sometimes you get lucky with it, but
yeah,
this
the
was
only reason I'm swinging VS is because it closed weak. Like, there was zero reason. I mean, the one little pop up two and then fail, whatever. But I mean, that also wasn't a parabolic, so a little bit different.
man. Yeah, I mean, I would have been hitting every order I could, to get out of this in after hours.
Yep. And then sometimes getting out after hours is tough. If you have any sort of, that's why I like trading pre market. That's why I like trading after hours. If you have any sort of size, it can be really tough getting out. Slippage can be horrible. You can't put stops. You can't mark it out. Your GTFO market button ain't gonna work. It sucks.
Yeah, man, I've gotten really hammered trading, pre-market and after hours before on stuff
Yep.
like that.
And all I can hear is old Uncle JJ in my ear. JJ Fade, the GOAT. You
Oh
trade
yeah.
in pre market, that dude would be like, "You're an idiot." He would straight up tell me, "You trade in pre market, you're an idiot." He can
Oh
probably
yeah.
trade pre market and probably nail stuff. I had no business, and I still have no business trading pre market, so I just don't.
Yeah, and I'm trying to keep myself from doing it. I do it every now and then, but like for all the times that you get lucky doing it, you're gonna give it back on one play. It feels like with me at least.
VS is a good. I mean, VS started shelving. I don't even know what level anymore. And then it ripped on like one candle, another 60%. Like, ridiculous trap move in pre market. So I just don't fool with it. But
I'm telling you.
anyway, all right.
Uh,
KBNT. We nailed that one. You got what, MGAM and EBIT? Oh, show your EBIT, because we traded that similar. Um, and we both piked the hell out of it.
all right, yeah.
Well, I say we piked it. We locked in. I ain't mad about it. But dude, that fade on EBIT. Ugh,
Yeah, let me pull that one up.
that thing was nasty.
Where is it? Yeah.
I think your last cover was better than mine. I forget where I could, if you pull up the chart, I'm sure I could tell you where I got all out at, but it was before you. I'm thinking I got all out at 180 ish because it kept holding that level. I'm pretty sure I was all out at 180, and then it proceeded to just tank and fade.
I know, man.
You played this one well though.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. And I I want to say where I was covering was around the 1 200.
Yeah, I think that's right because 180 it wasn't the 1 200. And the only reason I covered it that 180 level is because it. I mean, as you can see, it bounced off it so many times. So I
Yeah,
was
and
like,
see, this
forget
is
it, I'm
another
done.
example of something spiking and then making higher lows,
Hmm.
but then it dumps off. So
Yeah,
whatever.
and even if I would have been holding past 180, I know for damn sure I'd have got all out at 150 because there was a lot of consolidation at 150 in pre-market. I'd have been all out, 100%. I know it proceeded to go lower, but 100% would have been all out at 150. 150 is damn near a round trip,
I know, man. That's crazy.
so I'd have been all out. It is what it is. Meat of the move. That's all we can do. Like I said, that distortion of top tick bottom covers, it'll happen sometimes and you're going to feel really damn good when it does. It's just not always feasible.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not. I'm thrilled with this. It that's plenty for me, and that's why I usually try to save my charts for the end of the day most of the time, just because if sometimes I just like to see like, well, I could have made that much more, but look, like this is legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, Eric, any suggestion on trading the market open? Say, is it better not to trade within? So my answer to that is going to be I love trading open.
Yeah,
Um, but I think that just comes with screen time and experience. I used to, especially when I first got into trading, I didn't trade until after the first 15 minutes to let things settle down. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if you're not trading the market open, I don't think there's anything wrong with you waiting in this. You're talking 5 minutes. I used to wait 15. And a lot of guys, a lot of vets don't trade market open. They wait 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. So,
yeah. I'll tell you a story about that. Like when a few years ago, it was I had already. I mean, I'd been trading for probably like 2 years, and I had like a pretty decent size account. I think I had like 50K, and like that's what I. But I would trade just like I would trade huge size on everything. Um, I don't remember what the ticker was, but I was trying to trade it right out of the open, and it gapped up, and I think I tried to short it right off the open. Immediately cut it for like a 5K loss, and I tried to long it, and then it slams. I cut it for like a 8K loss. And then I try to short it again and it spikes up, just doing the stuff that they do right at market open because I wasn't using levels as much. I was more just discretionarily trading price action. Long
mm,
story short, that was one of my first huge losses. It was in like the first 5 minutes, I was already down like 17K. And I had to just leave. I was like, dang, I've gone and like ruined my account in one day.
yeah, trading the
So
open is tough, man. Nothing wrong
yeah,
with waiting, though. Nothing wrong with that at all.
but like I love a like pre-market high, on certain stuff, and then like a wick over pre-market high at open. That's sick.
Little fake breakout.
Yeah, like that's a sick play. I mean, that's something I'll hit. So
Oh, you know what though? This ticker here deserves the sniper treatment.
hey, good enough, right?
Good one. That's a good one.
And I tried to wait until I saw a little bit of failure.
Yeah, because not EBIT, MSGM, MGAM, none of these sympathy plays with that main one. From what I remember looking at the daily and the hourly, none of them had like just awesome levels that look to be really solid areas of resistance. So you waiting for a top to form and hitting it, and if you caught it there at 250 and you're risking a new high a day, in my opinion, that's again you're putting yourself in a good risk reward scenario, and that's as far as I'm concerned, that's one of the best things we can do with our style of trading. Just put yourself in really, really good risk reward. scenarios.
Yeah, that's something Valentine always says to me. He's always like, just size in as close to your risk as possible. And I love that dude.
Oh, Valentine. I said something to him today on Twitter. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah, man. I love listening to him. The Bulgarian accent.
Hmm.
Uh, he
Uh,
he always says that, and like that's so true.
yep. You got your, what was it? MGAM ticker. That's the last one I think we got, right?
Uh,
We can try to wrap this for y'all. I know we're coming up on an hour, damn near. We get to talking, you
yeah.
know.
Did I show G Sun?
Yeah, yeah. The last one I think you have to show is the MGAM, and we
All right.
traded that pretty similar to. I think I was a little earlier on that one than you were. I got a little trigger happy at open on all those sympathies when I saw that offering on the head of the snake, and I was like, man, all these things are going to die at open. But then that thing dead cat bounced and took all the rest of them with it.
Let's see here.
Pretty sure it was MGAM, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Here, let me pull that up. Um, so where is it? There it is. Yeah. So, I trade some stuff a little different than you, but
That's good. Two different viewpoints.
yeah, I'm not like when I see offerings and stuff just getting absolutely hammered, like big gainers, I'm not thinking, okay, I need to short this immediately. I'm thinking, where can I long this to catch like, you know, a 10, 15, 20% move, whatever, off of the lows. Um, so on this one, I know that this wasn't the offering play, but this was kind of like the one behind the front runner, right?
Yeah, this was the main sympathy to it.
Yeah. So I saw it get slammed there. I think that was right off the open. Um, and so I got long here, and I think I put a stop in at like, what did I do here? I don't. I think I just marketed in, and I was gonna mark it out if it like started breaking down much lower than anywhere around this wick, which it happens sometimes. But it was a discretionary trade. I thought there was pretty decent risk to reward. It wasn't like huge size, but longed it here. Um, Sold into this candle right here. It was a limit order, and I had locates, so I got the short, and I covered a quarter here, and then I covered 3/4 here. Unfortunately, because it scared me.
Yeah, it would have scared me too, but you literally played that damn near perfect on the long and the short. Right it open. That's tough.
Yeah, yeah, man. It was right up. I don't know if you can tell. I have it really. It's really light.
You know, yeah, yeah, I can tell. I can see the difference in color, but it's right there at open. So the long that it open, sell it, hit short, cover pretty much that bottom on that first down piece. Yeah, yeah, and then you covered that. Have scared me too on that little rip up because this is when the main head of the snake was still kind of bouncing and grinding and halt fested open. I'd have got
Yeah,
out too.
man. It's so much easier to trade in hindsight, right?
It
Like,
is, but yeah, and as a matter of fact, I don't have my EBIT trade pulled up, but I don't know if you remember me saying in chat at one point I had a good entry on EBIT and I exited it out because the head of the snake started kind of halting up and ripping and it scared me out.
I know, man. It'll do it, and then you're like, damn it! Like, why did I do this?
Yep.
But whatever. So I tried to get long again here, uh, just on this lower high action, like I said again, in hindsight,
Yeah.
not great. I just was thinking this thing was gonna. I was thinking it was gonna be kind of wild, like rip up to VWAP and slam. Do moves like that, and sometimes you'll have those plays, and I'll play them well, but so get long here, get stopped out here, dead bottom, stop out, of
Yeah,
course.
it happens.
Uh,
Can't win them all, folks. Just not gonna happen.
that's right. So I see it holds that level, lower high once again. I was like, man, this thing. I knew it would stop me out. I should have put my stop a little lower, but whatever. I had I had that number in mind. Once again, discretionary, long. You don't want to let it get too far away from you. You don't want to get bagged. Something up hundreds
Yeah.
of percent, and then it just starts. And next thing you know, offering, and it's like
Yep.
slams $2.
Yep. And
You,
after the head of the snake, I don't know what the dilution options were on this anymore. I put it in my watch list, but I don't know if it had any. But when you see the head of the snake throw out an offering right before open, you get a little spooked on all the sympathies.
oh yeah, yeah. Um, but so yeah.
That's a
Uh,
good ad though on that long right there where your mouse is lower high. That's a good ad.
yeah, yeah, and I chased it up a little bit there, but and I was saying in the room what I was doing, that I was long on this from the morning, and it ended up working out. I knew I wanted close to VWAP, and if I didn't have,
You top tick sold it right there.
yeah, I think it hit 174, and my last sell was at 173. Um, so it was a good one. This was probably, honestly, I think this was my second biggest dollar gain of the day. Believe it
That's a
or
good
not.
one. Here's a question here. Do you put your plan on the board? Board? What board? You talking about the whiteboard? If you're talking about the whiteboard behind me, no, I don't put my plan on that board. I have an Excel sheet where I create my watch list, if that's what you're referring to. I do that every morning. This board behind me, I use mainly just to write down little things to remember, but it's all mainly around data tracking. That's what this board is for. I track certain things on certain tickers at certain times a day. And unless I manually track it, I won't track it and I can't track it because I got to catch it in the moment. That's what this board is for, if that's what you're talking about. So, plan on the board. No, I have an Excel sheet that I use for my watch list. And I think we shared that in a previous video. I don't mind pulling it up. You care if I pull it up real quick?
Oh, go ahead. Let me take this off.
Let me see here. I'm gonna try to show it. I got this ultra wide monitor that just, for whatever reason,
I
doesn't.
guess I guess we just need to get 27-inch monitors and put them horizontal.
Dude, I got so many monitors. I don't even know where to put any more monitors.
Yeah, I got two small monitors sitting under my desk here that are just sitting here.
So yeah, so you see, it doesn't translate well because it's an ultra wide monitor, and I'm gonna work on that. But this is what I use to create a watch list. And as far as plan on the board, I plan it on Excel. I color code my cells based on criteria, and I put different things in there. I know you really can't see it, but I'm looking at gap up percents, and is SSR on, the float, the market cap, institutional ownership, if they have cash needs, dilution options, what the news is, the setup. Just that forces me to look at every single piece of the stock in play, from fundamentals to levels to dilution options. Forces me to look at everything. So that's what that is. But yes, the board, data tracking, or little quick notes because I can't remember shit.
Yeah, same here, especially on days like today when it's just crazy.
Madness. Madness. Anyway, I don't see any other questions. So I think we're good. If anybody has a question, now would be the absolute time to throw that in there, but I hope we were as thorough as we can. We're creeping up on an hour, and we don't want to waste everybody's evening with stock talk because I would love to eat and hang out with the kids for a bit.
Yeah, I'm sure my wife's ready for me to come in there anyway.
Yeah, I think my wife wants me to go get her a milkshake from Dairy Queen, so I'm gonna have to do that. But
My
anyway,
wife
yeah.
gets milk from the store.
This was fun. This is the first time we've ever went live, so forgive us for our ignorance and not knowing what we're doing. We'll get better at it. I think we were getting better at the pre-recorded stuff. This is the first time going live, so we'll get better at this too. Still learning technology and YouTube and the fact that we have ultra wides and vertical monitors that don't translate well to screen sharing. Like, I hate that, but we're gonna figure that out.
Yeah, we'll get it sorted out. Something.
But first day, this was our first day in New Age Wall Street. They're on Twitter, they're on Facebook. They are literally newagewallstreet.com. This was our first day in the small cap room, which was awesome. Kicked off the month with a fucking bang.
I
Ugh,
know, man. It really was good.
freaking bang. Anyway, and then, New Age Wall Street, they also do options. Cruz is the options king. He literally knows everything about options. I don't, but he does. But that's what's awesome about him is you get both. So we'll be there. We'll be in there. I think we'll wrap it, right? We're good. No questions, right? I don't see anything.
Cruz said, "Could you review PHUB?"
Could we review what?
Cruz, you're gonna have to review that later on. I guess I'm gonna have to review it too.
Oh, I'm long on that name.
Yeah, yeah,
That one's
absolutely.
going to the moon, brother.
Oh yeah, man. That's in my long term account.
Cruz got option probably calls that don't expire until May on that thing.
That's right.
All right, fellas. Big dog. We'll be back at it tomorrow again in the New Age Wall Street room. We just started, but if today is any indication of how this will go, check it out. Holler at you tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Sounds good.
Peace, brother.
All right. Peace.